Welcome back to another episode of Kavanaugh's Corner. Today in the show I'm going to be talking about a movie that it's a weird one. This is not one I was planning on reviewing, but when I saw that this was getting a Blu-ray release, actually I think it was probably about 3 months ago, but when I heard about this I was very surprised, and honestly I remember renting this movie from a video store that was near my house when I was a kid. And you know, I probably shouldn't have been watching this movie. It's a very silly movie with some adult humor in it. But it's you know, it's a comedy. It's silly, but it's a funny movie, and it's one of these movies that I was really excited to see it come out finally on Blu-ray. And it's a movie that was a terrible bomb. It made no money. Ron Howard actually produced this movie, and it almost bankrupted him right out of the gate, being a producer of this film. But I'm glad to see this movie is finally being released now. And that movie, if you can tell by the image behind me, this is Vibes, starring Cyndi Lauper and Jeff Goldblum. What a pair. And also Peter Falk over there of Columbo fame. I love this guy. May he rest in peace. But again, I was really excited to see this come out on Blu-ray. This movie, again, nostalgically for me, I have fond memories of it when I was a kid because I laughed at it, and it had some kind of like really silly, weird humor. But really, I'm a big Jeff Goldblum fan, and this is a movie that really made me a fan of Jeff Goldblum when I was growing up, because I had seen him in Jurassic Park and later on in The Fly and many other movies. And this was really like my first endeavor with him as a leading man. And I gotta tell you, this is a very Jeff Goldblum movie. I can't see anybody else playing the part that Jeff plays in this movie. And Cyndi Lauper, well, let's just say her acting career didn't go much farther than this. She did some other things here and there, but mainly she stuck to music, which we, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, the movie is very funny. It's about two psychics that travel to Ecuador to go and find Peter Falk's son, or as he says, it's his son, is missing. You gotta watch the movie to find out what happens next. But really, it's a very silly, very kind of, you know, throw it on and have a laugh kind of movie. Don't think too hard about it, because it is kind of ridiculous. But it's a fun movie. And I really enjoyed the fact that this is on Blu-ray finally. Now, this is a movie that, again, had a very limited release on DVD, didn't really get a lot of love for many, many years. That DVD has long been out of print. I never actually even got a chance to own it. But this is finally on Blu-ray, and how does the Blu-ray look? It's not great. This is a release from Mill Creek, and Mill Creek has a tendency of kind of putting out movies lackadaisically. They get the rights and they release them. They did clean up the movie a little bit for an HD release here, but it is a very grainy, very kind of standard picture. It's an okay picture. It looks pretty good upscaled to 4K, I will say that. It is, again, a very heavily grainy film. And I have no problem with film grain, but it almost looks like the film's negative has been chucked around a little bit and kind of left not so cared for. Is there a lot of damage on screen? Not really. But the movie's balance, its color, it's all kind of flat. It's really nothing spectacular. The movie itself does not have a very crazy, vibrant color structure to it. The cinematography in it is very middle of the road, so it's okay. There are a lot of foggy visuals in this. There's a lot of fog and stuff used in some of the scenes where they go up into the hills of Ecuador and things like that. But mainly, it's an okay picture. It's not great. It's really nothing special to report. To be honest with you, I'm just glad that I have it on home video of some sort because of being a strange fan of this film. But overall, the picture is very middle of the road. It's not great. It's not awful, but it's very, very meh, I would say. It's very, very middle, you know, kind of not so great. It's okay. It's passable. But honestly, it really just looks like a slightly upscaled DVD. It's nothing really groundbreaking, honestly. The most vibrant things in the whole movie is Cyndi Lauper's hair, her makeup, and her dresses. That is it. Everything else is really kind of lame, to be honest. The real disappointing thing with this Blu-ray, though, that I found is that the audio on this movie is really lousy. The audio on this Blu-ray is almost inexcusably bad. It is so low. Again, I had to really, really crank up the audio on this to hear anything that was going on film, on the screen. Really, really low. And I mean, inexcusably low. And I can deal with Disney and their Atmos stuff where they kind of crank it down a few notches, but this is not even like crank it down. I thought the thing was muted. And I'm not kidding. I literally thought the movie was muted when I first started playing it, and I had it at a level that most movies normally play, you know, fairly loudly. And I had to crank it up about 20 to 25 points higher to get the audio to where I needed it to actually be able to hear what's going on. And again, I'm not really going deaf, but I mean, this is really bad. It's a standard stereo mix. It's a DTS HD stereo mix. So it's just middle, center, left, right. That's it. So it's really not great. That is the one thing I was very surprised about. It really seems like they did nothing to up the audio in any way, shape, or form. As far as I know, this might even be like the original mix of the film. I don't know. All I know is that the audio on this disc is bad. And honestly, it almost makes me not recommend this movie since the picture is also very middle of the road. But for $8, it's up to you. Honestly, if you're a fan of this film, if you get a kick out of Goldblum and Cyndi Lauper and the great Peter Falk, you might like it. But in all honesty, it's probably skippable unless you really, really like this movie. Again, I get a kick out of it. That's why I ended up buying it. But overall, I can't really recommend it just because of the lack of care that was really with this release. It was almost as, I mean, to be honest with you, it is almost like they spent more time doing the covers that look like this VHS thing, and then they actually put the original movie poster on the disc itself, which is really nice. But it looks like they almost spent more time with that than they did on the movie. But anyway, I'm Andrew Kavanaugh. Thank you for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this. And if you want to buy this movie, again, if you're a crazy fan like I am, you can click the little link in the description below to buy it on Amazon, and I get a little kickback from that, and I really appreciate it if you did. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.